This video is gonna double as a mic test because I had a lot of issues with getting my microphone set correctly whenever I swapped over to this new computer, but I think I've got it now. I did a mic test myself and it sounds good, so I would hope it sounds good for you guys, but I would prefer feedback regardless. So yeah, and which is funny because I went through so much to just try and adjust it so well, but all I had to do was just throw the Yeti mic out and then swap to this HyperX one, and now I sound fine, and I don't sound like I'm recording using like a 2008 Logitech microphone now. Yeah. So yeah, I sound good now, but I still want feedback, so yeah. So yeah. But anyways, despite the mic issues, we're gonna be watching 10 Brutal Ways to Get Murked, and I don't know how to pronounce that name at all, but 10 Brutal Ways to Get Murked and Primal. So yeah, the first part. So yeah. And while I've watched pretty much all of Goji Center's 10 Ways to Get Brutally Killed in whichever series, I haven't seen this one though. So this should be interesting. I don't know much about Primal. The only thing I know is that it's basically dinosaurs on steroids and a bunch of other giant creatures as well. Yeah. And dude has like a pet T-Rex or something, which I think that's kind of cool. Or companion T-Rex or whatever. I don't know. Yeah. I don't know much about Primal, but I just know, like I said, I just know dinosaurs and monsters on steroids. And that's, I think that says enough for how dangerous this world is. Yeah. So this should be very interesting. So let's just jump right in, shall we?
In this episode, we will travel to a fictitious primordial world where weakness and lack of wit is punishable by a gory and painful death. A world filled with enough killers to encompass every single horrific execution imaginable. Join us as we place our test subjects in our simulation platforms, analyzing each of these predators' weapons, kill methodologies, and gory aftermaths that are not suitable for people with weak stomachs. If you enjoy this messed up content and want us to consistently bless your feed with more carnage, then hit that bloody subscribe button and hold on tight as we
You're the man.
Witness 10
Subscribe to me too, please.
brutal ways to die in Genndy Tartatovsky's Primal. Before we see these primal creatures eat lunch, let's quickly cover some bigger monsters that could turn you into their next meal. Number 1, Munched to Death.
All right.
To begin this episode, we will cover species of animals that are not only popular in this series, but also in real life. The Tyrannosaurus Rex.
Yep.
Rexes in this show, however, are so in real life. The Tyrannosaurus
Motherfucker really just grabbed a mouthful of fish, huh?
Rex. Rexes in this show, however, are given what we like to call the primal treatment, in that they aren't anatomically similar to real-life Rexes. These predators in this show vary in size, shape, and physical attributes, but
Red T-Rex, Fang, and Alpha Rex, which also has a rhino horn. Jesus.
what does it feel like to get killed by these animals? Well, we also have to cover the fact that T-Rex
Probably not very pleasant to be killed by anything on this.
in this show are exceptionally smart, almost to a rudimentary human level of intelligence, so they know what they are doing. And some of these Rexes seem to like it. Getting killed by this Alpha T-Rex, for instance, would mean that you're either swallowed or chomped in half. These animals show no mercy and will brutally kill anyone instantly with its massive bite force. The aftermath would have been a bloody mess on the floor with chunks of slashed organs, blood, and any leftover fat, flesh, and bone. This applies to all Rexes in this show, especially Fang, who is seen to have exceptional bite strength. But these T-Rexes, such as Red and Fang, would sometimes be seen to grab a human victim and slam them on the floor. This method would kill not only from the blood loss in the abdomen, but also from the concussive damage inflicted from slamming the victim.
Yeah, like they're already dead. Like the moment you start slamming them, they're already dead. And like just, like I imagine from the very first slam, like they're pretty much brain dead at that point. Maybe not entirely dead, but I imagine it's already lights out. Yeah.
On the floor, causing vertebrae damage and crushing the skull from the force behind the slam. Up next, we will cover a type of fatality that can also be defined as a brutal ritualistic execution.
Oh boy.
Number 2, Punched to a Pulp. In Season 1 of Primal, we were introduced to a tribe of Hades caught you, you'd find yourself wrapped in vines witnessing the tournament that would bring forth your execution. These giant primates have punching.
For a moment, I thought they were holding guns. I don't know why, but the hands looked like guns for a moment. I was like, holy shit. Oh, Lord.
That would bring forth your execution. These giant primates have punching power, but these areas, you'd be alive to witness your body disintegrate from the impact.
Can you just make a cut?
Punching power, but these areas.
Okay.
You'd be alive to witness your body disintegrate from the impact. This pit witnessed some of the worst carnage in this series. Up next, we will swim with some of the most feared predators in history. Number 3, a slithery end. Okay. Very soon you'll find out that there is no such thing as safe in this world. In this Primal episode, Spear and...
I don't think safety exists in a lot of the topics that Goji Center covers. Yeah, like safety, non-existent. No such thing. Nope. Nope. Especially in a world like this, yeah. No, safe isn't even a factor because, like I said, doesn't exist.
Fang ran into a wall of thousands of snakes, each of considerable size.
Hell nah. Hell nah. No. 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 As someone who is very snake phobic, nah, just nah. Oh man, I'm running out of there so fast that Sonic will look like a damn snail. No. Sonic will be going in snail speed in comparison from how fast away I'll be running away from that shit. I will outrun the Flash with if I ever came across that shit. Nah, no. No.
These guys were ambushed by a flash flood, in which they found themselves swimming with these seemingly aquatic snakes. But they weren't alone. This big fella was swimming among them too. This giant aquatic snake wasn't necessarily based on any extinct snake, but probably resembled some of the now extinct giant snakes like the Titanoboa, Gigantophis, or even the aquatic Paleophis. Getting attacked by these smaller creatures would have meant that you'd be attacked from many angles, with their fangs piercing through your flesh, causing severe pain, not to mention any venomous agents.
And they got them in the water too. Like, not only do you gotta deal with snakes, you gotta deal with the water too. Like, it's literally like, what was it again? What was it called? Thalassophobia? Yeah, thalassophobia with fucking snake phobia in it too. And it's like, that is not a good combination at all. Nope.
That these snakes could have had. A bite to the jugular, for instance, would mean that blood loss would be a lethal factor here, since your heart rate is already too high from all the swimming. In this case, you'd probably be left unconscious, never to wake again. But what about this giant snake? In this case, you'd be swallowed, since this animal's gaping jaws would be wide enough to easily swallow you whole, while inflicting cuts from its teeth as you slide inside its throat.
Well, he's probably about to go over, but then there's like the whole digestion process too.
Cover this specific way to die in more detail in a future episode, but now let's move on to a violent creature that would only be after you as a form of revenge. Number 4, Ragdolled. A thing to note, if you haven't already noticed about this series, is that it features different creatures from different eras. Why do we say this?
We got dinosaurs and Ice Age shit.
Well, because we now have woolly mammoths into the mix. These animals were the last common ancestor of the present-day elephant species. And if you know anything about elephants, you'll know that these guys are very smart.
Oh yeah, very dangerous too. Yeah.
And there are countless stories where they hold grudges against people who wronged them in the past. In this episode, we find that Spear...
I've heard many of those stories from Casual Geographic, yeah.
And Fang killed a member of this mammoth herd. As a result, these guys were out for some revenge. These creatures are equipped with all sorts of weapons that could easily be used to dispatch any smaller creature such as you. And in this show, these things are massive. So much, in fact, that they dwarf this team.
I was about to say, they dwarfed Fang. Holy shit. Like that. Fang can't even size up in comparison. Holy shit! What are they feeding? What are these mammoths eating? Like, holy shit!
T-Rex. So, what can they do to you? Many things, actually. These tusks are sharp enough to pierce through you, send you flying. The trunk is so strong that it could have knocked you unconscious, breaking many bones in your body. These animals could also rear up and crush you with its front limbs, turning you into ground meat. But that's not all. These guys display collaborative behavior. If caught in the middle of two mammoths, expect nothing but certain death. One thing to remember is that because intelligent animals like these can remember you, you'd best not mess with them. Because the next time you run into them, you know what to expect. Coming up, a creature that will also gang up on you, but in greater numbers.
Yeah, I guess that just goes to show, let's not fuck around with smart animals, cause, well, if you fight them and you get away and they find you again, they're gonna not only are you gonna have an idea of what they're gonna try to do, they're probably gonna have something else up their sleeve too, because they're like, okay, this method didn't work, let's try this other method, and this time we'll actually fucking kill them that time, or something, you know? Yeah, not exactly something I want to mess with.
Number 5, torn to shreds. Moving on from the merciless land of Primal, we find ourselves ambushed by a pack of raptors. Featherless dromaeosaurs that thrived in the open plains or grasslands of this prehistoric biome, known to swarm prey in great overwhelming numbers. These were not necessarily large predators, with their height being a little shorter than a human.
They're large enough. Large enough for me to not want to deal with them.
But dangerous nonetheless. These animals will rely on their sharp array of weaponry, claws, teeth, agility, and speed. But apart from this, they will also rely on deception and stealth. These attacks are well coordinated to lead you into a trap, and once you find yourself surrounded, then you're in for a rough time. Unless you're a superhuman or apex predator, which you aren't.
Yeah, I'm not. They are, but I'm not, so I'd just be screwed.
Us to our
like, if you're in that situation, it's time to just pick a god and pray.
Platform. Because there are so many raptors, these guys will literally yank you apart, overwhelming you with attacks from all fronts. Knowing raptors, it's safe to say that these guys won't hold back in eating you while you're still alive. Yeah. But if you watch this show, you'll know that these guys weren't the only predators here to hunt in overwhelming numbers. Up next is a creature that takes its time when hunting prey and capable of gradually inflicting terror in the process. Number 6, Gradual Doom. This creature that we are about to discuss uses a rather disturbing method of locating and stalking prey. In Season 1 of Primal, we find Spear dragging an injured Fang to find shelter, but in the process there was this one animal constantly watching them for a very long time. After a while, this got a lot more creepy. Soon after, their numbers started to grow, slowly. So what are these? These were known as primordial dogs, but have a similar resemblance to the modern-day African wild dog. Armed.
Oh yeah, I was hyenas was on the mind, but yeah, that's also, yeah.
With sharp, pointy fangs that seem to be built for getting a good grip on its prey. Strength-wise, however, they are relatively weak, but their strength would be increased over time by numbers.
Yep.
That's right, one day you're walking alone, looking up and finding yourself being stalked by one dog. But from his perspective, you're nothing but a walking pizza, one that can fight back. For now. Now all that's left is for more dog friends to show up. One day you wake up and you're surrounded by enough dogs to take you down. And it won't be pretty. Yeah. Similar to the raptors, these dogs will attack from all angles. The overwhelming amount of teeth inserted into your body will eventually tire you out, causing you to bleed so much that eventually you succumb to your wounds. Yeah. Perhaps the most terrifying part of this experience is that these guys will always follow you, patiently, and there's nothing you can do while you're on open ground. Being on open ground is never a good idea, especially when you're up against these next frightening monsters. Number 7, Carcass Carriers. We've covered methods to die in the water, on the ground, and now it's only natural to think that there are things flying above you that will think you would taste good. Meet the man-bats. These strange-looking flying mammals.
I thought I was gonna go over those vultures I saw earlier, but I guess not.
Would have looked terrifying if they were small, but no. To make matters worse, these guys are the size of dinosaurs, dwarfing humans, making us look like simple snacks.
Man, That's like the fucking man bat from Batman, and it's like, but maybe even worse, and it's like, yeah, no.
Their human-shaped physique, armed with claws on their appendages and sharp sets of teeth, make them some of the most terrifying hunters in this world. So, how would you end up on their menu? The first step in becoming food for these guys would be finding yourself in the open wastelands in these guys' territory. Once picked up, there's no escape. You'll soon be carried up to a cave where these bats will feast on your whole body, which is more than likely able to fit perfectly inside their mouth. These teeth would be big enough to pierce into any organ such as your lungs, intestines, but a wound on the heart would make you die immediately. Other methods of injury would include the inevitable slashing that you will have to endure, and in the event that you let yourself loose from the grip of these
There's multiple of these fuckers too. Oh, Jesus.
bats, well, either way, you're still food. But there's more to this method of dying. Turns out that these animals had a form of symbiotic relationship with other species, meaning that if they didn't eat you, you were going to be fed to this next monster. Number 8, snared and teared. These bats don't always catch prey to eat for themselves. If you're the unlucky victim to not die just yet, then know that you'll be fed to a bigger monster. This is the mega spider. As the name suggests, this spider of gargantuan proportions dwarfs these dinosaur-sized bats, making anything else look insignificant compared to its sheer mass.
Any arachnophobes would be scared? Any arachnophobes that are scared as shit right now? I'm not. I don't have arachnophobia.
Spider has the ability to shoot webs from its mouth, ensnaring you with silk, rendering you motionless. How else can this thing kill? For starters, the tips of this spider's legs have small pincers that can grab smaller prey and repeatedly slam them all over the place. You'd be dead with one swing. These can also be closed to be used as piercing weapons. But what else? This spider's mandibles have small, backward-facing teeth that if used on you, your struggling body would find no other way to move except towards its mouth. Any movements in the opposite direction will just tear flesh from your body. So you have a decision to make. Die a slow, gradual death inside the spider's digestive system, or get violently chewed with these mandibles. Either way, there's no escaping an excruciatingly painful death.
Yeah, it's just bad all around.
But is there something more frightening than this?
Possibly.
Number 9, Plague
Madness?
of Madness. In the world of Primal, one of the most horrible things that can happen to you is getting infected by a disease that doesn't just kill, but also fatally injures every
Thing looked like a damn zombie.
infected by a disease that doesn't
Like, Jesus Christ. Like, zombie dinosaur? Question mark?
just kill, but also fatally injures everyone around. Here's how. Getting infected by this unnamed plague requires certain bacteria to enter your bloodstream by means of biting, or simply allowing infected matter to get absorbed by an open wound. Once bit, the first symptoms would be the feeling of lethargy, sweating, pain, and
Or
the
is it like
excretion
rabies?
of mucus. But this is just the beginning. Soon after, your skin begins to sag and lose its grip around your flesh. You begin to rot at an accelerated rate. You begin to vomit blood, and your eyes now begin to change their coloration. Pupils disappear, and your consciousness is now dead. At this point, the plague has taken full control of your nervous system, and now everything around you with a pulse is now prey. Anything infected with this plague loses all
It's a
reception to
zombie
pain
virus.
and has almost infinite stamina. Sound familiar? Yeah, you're basically a zombie.
Yeah.
Perhaps the most relentless organism in science fiction. Anyone around you, whether friend or foe, is at the mercy of your uncontrollable drive to kill. The only way to stop this is to cause irreparable damage to the nervous system, whether it's to break the spine or destroy the head altogether. In the show, this Argentinosaurus turned from being a peaceful dinosaur to a bloodthirsty killer, mercilessly mutilating every single member of its own herd, and relentlessly following spear and fang until it succumbed to its wounds. As frightening as this animal was, there is one creature in this world that inflicted true terror on anything it came across, leaving nothing but a gory aftermath. Number 10, Bloody
Is this the night feeder? I did hear about that. Is that what this is?
Slice. Hidden in the dark forests roams an enigmatic creature that is feared by all living things. The Night Feeder. This animal's supernatural speed, stealth, and weaponry places it in the upper echelons of this world's array of predatory creatures. You'd probably get sliced so fast you probably wouldn't even feel
Another cut.
the blade
Gotta take a guess. I'm assuming it has to do with copyright issues.
cut clean through your body. That's if the claw goes through your head. Any other angle and you'll pass out from the hemorrhagic shock alone, leaving your perfectly sliced body to spill out anything along the cut. There are times where these claws strike with so much force that the victims would literally explode from the impact. One thing is certain, and that is parts of your mutilated corpse decorating the surrounded area. This predator proved to have a weakness, however. It would emit an oily secretion on its skin, which turned out to be quite flammable. This would in turn explain why this animal was extremely fearful of any form of light or heat, in fear that it would light itself on fire, which is what ended up happening. Don't forget to subscribe to be the first to see episode 2 of this series, as there are a lot of other creatures that we still need to discuss, and more test subjects waiting for their turn. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next episode.
Alright, the next episode should be very interesting then. Well, the world of Primal is not a world I would want to get isekai'd into, yeah. I think there's a lot of worlds you would not want to be isekai'd into. But you wanna know what the funny thing is? Still better to get isekai'd there than Sword Art Online. Yeah. Or Glee, or a number of other shows and stuff. Yeah, Jesus. Anyways, I'm going to end the video now. So if you enjoyed that, check out the original one, which will be linked in the description below. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Have a good day, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.